Yahawashi. Shalom, shalom. Call halal, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen, that look like the heathen nations, the Israelite foreigners. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Greatmillstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I'm just going to talk about division. And I mean, it's division within within Israel right now. There's division within America. There's division within NATO. And the scriptures clearly tell you that a house divided cannot stand and will not stand. All right. Hold on, I just want to move my bike out of the frame, Salakia. All right, Salakia. And I got a couple videos here, but first I want to get a scripture. Let's get it. And this won't be a long video. You know, I got to actually go teach class in a little bit. And I shot down here to the park to try to get a quick lesson in because the spirit was on me. And it's a scripture that comes out, you know, every week. And it's hard not to bring it out looking at the situation here in America. All right, but this is Mark 3:23. And it reads, "And he called unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. All right, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan shall rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end." All right, so America is highly divided on the Trump issue and on the Biden, on the Biden issue. And I was training with my client, one of my longtime clients, actually one of my favorites. And man, we were having this heated, back and forth about Trump. Now I'm not for or against him. I could literally care less, and she knows that. Well, at least I let her know that. But when you measure up the crimes that he's being accused of versus the epic crimes of the Biden administration and family, right? All the labs over in the UK, the money going to the Israelis, the money going to Ukraine, the everything with the laptop with Hunter Biden and all these business dealings that went down, sex with underage girls, drug buys, and all. The man was recording his sex with underage girls and recording his own drug buys, man. And the fact of the matter is that every police officer that touched that laptop, they all came up dead. They all had accidents or whatever. Every witness to it, and now they don't know. And now they don't know where the laptop is. And we're talking about the FBI, man. So, so this man's, what is he screaming? I grabbed her by the pussy or whatever he said. That got these women in such, uproar against him. All that's little compared to the fact that Biden opened up the borders, and you have 45 million people in America that aren't from here, and about a good 2 million of them are more than likely soldiers, enemy combatants, and that you've had 5 attacks on military installations on military personnel. And if you just weighing it in the balance, if you're being balanced with it, Biden should be being arrested on treason, and a lot of the members of his cabinet. But that's not happening. It's just certain people. That's how you know that everything is set up. Everything is it's political. There is no truth and there is no justice when it comes to politics. It just isn't. You know, that people are going to go with whatever the powers that be say it is, and not what it actually is. All right, so I want to play some videos of looks like they deleted that one. And this first one is a message from the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. All right, this is a message from him of Texas. He's the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, and what he has to say about Trump. Now remember, I'm neutral on this. I'm not neither for or against him, you know. But let's listen to what this Lieutenant Governor has to say and how this all falls into prophecy. All right, because Trump already made his statement and said that the trial was disgraceful. So let's hear what this Lieutenant Governor has to say.
Hi, I'm Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas. President Trump is under a gag order from the court and cannot speak for himself, but I can. I spent the day in court with the president recently, and it's clear the judge is absolutely corrupt. He's doing everything in his power to help the jury find a pathway to convict the president. The judge kept an expert witness on campaign finance from testifying that the president did not break any campaign finance law.
Well, that doesn't sound right.
The lawyers asked the judge to give the jury an instruction that there is no campaign violation by the action the president took. The judge said no. In fact, this corrupt judge virtually granted...
Let me pause it there. That was part of the argument that Natalie and I were having. Or not the argument, but the heated conversation. All right? Because she didn't really know what she was talking about. She's just going off emotions because she's one of those women who just hate Trump. And there's a lot of women in America that do. All right?
And every jury instruction the Biden prosecutors asked for, and virtually none of the instructions the Trump team asked for. This is a show trial, like you would see in some tin pot dictatorship in a third world country, or in North Korea, or China, or Iran, or Russia. No one would ever imagine that this would happen in America.
And with my personal dealings with the court systems right now, you know, that I have a judge who's 5 months into not making her judgment to protect the other party, because if she passes a judgment, I win. Well, you know, justice is not always justice here in America.
Do this to a former president with the funds to fight back, they can do this to you and any American. Remember,
he made a point. If they can do this to a president with that much power and that much money, what chance do you have?
Crime. There is no evidence of any wrongdoing, but they are persecuting and prosecuting President Trump because they know they can't beat him in November. We must stand with him because he is sacrificing everything he has for this country, for our children, and for our grandchildren. There is no one in America who would go through what he is going through for us. Not one person. And President Trump is the only one that can give us our country back, a secure border, deport the criminals and lock up the terrorists, bring law and order back to our communities.
Now, you know, that's when he's just wishful thinking, because that's not in the cards for America. That's not the prophecy. All right. So what all this is leading up is to vision, civil war, and ultimately the third world war. Let's listen to another video, and then we'll close out with some scripture. All right. So here's a proud Texan speaking about his beloved Mr. Trump, how he feels about him. All right, here we go.
Notice how we didn't burn down any cities the other night just because we didn't like an outcome.
So that was a shot at, that was a smack in the face to BLM right there, out the gate. All right, and remember what I always say: BLM is a white organization with a black name, and that's just a ugly truth. All right, it's a part of Antifa. And that's all it is. It's a white organization with a black name. So that's why it targets the things that it targets. All right. In only those communities. Okay.
Instead, y'all raised the man $52.8 million in less than 24 hours. Over 35 million Americans donated so much money so fast that it crashed the website multiple times. Why was there such an outpouring of support financially for Donald Trump after he was convicted? This was and is purely a political exercise, not a legal one. And for millions of Americans, it has become the final straw, I believe. Anyone who followed and educated themselves in just the slightest on this trial, you can see the abuse, the discrimination, the inequality that in the past has caused so many to riot, protest, and burn. Instead, we spoke with our wallets. We are sick of the use of the government to harass and persecute a political opponent. Whether it's the liberal state politicians trying to remove Trump from the ballot, to the FBI, to the Department of Justice, and now the court system. The left is doing everything they can to stop Americans from having the right to choose and vote for the candidate they want. That's what these trials are about. That's what all of this is about.
And on that point, I agree with him. All right. But if he thinks that the fires and the chaos is not going to come, he's losing his mind, because nothing has ever been established. Countries and new leadership and new regime is never done peacefully. It's always going to take violence to set up something new. All right. And that's just an ugly truth and reality. All right. So let's go to let me find a scripture real quick, and then I'll play the last video. Because Yahawashi is going to return to a world that's already on fire. Okay? Just trying to remember that scripture said, if it already be kindled. Yeah, this is Luke 12 and 49. And it reads, "And I come to send fire on earth, and what will I if it be already kindled?" All right? So the fires are already going to be burning. The skirmishes and the wars and the death, the kicking in of doors. Look, I have a neighbor that lives around the block, away from me. And I was walking my dogs yesterday, and and this guy, it's like a couple times in the summer he sets out his little table and he sells like used iPhones. And and I don't know him, and he's an older guy. I mean, I'm not the youngest guy, but he's an older guy than me. And frail, older dude. I mean, that I could probably hit him in his chest and give him a heart attack. But I'm walking my dogs, and and I saw him out there setting up his table, and I'm going by, and I was like, hey, how's it going, man? And he speaks to me. He's like, hey, how you doing? All right. And then I'm continue walking, but my dog stops and takes a dump. So so I pull out my plastic bag to clean up. I'm not the a-hole that's gonna let my dog just shit on your lawn and leave it there. And so I'm picking up the poop. This dude starts just talking crazy shit to me. Like, why the fuck you gonna let your dog, come and shit on my lawn? And I'm like, man, and I was like, really, dude? I'm like, man, he's a damn dog. He's gonna shit when he feels like shitting. I said, well, what do you think well, I didn't say this, but I was thinking it. What you think I taught him on command, shit right here? This guy right here, shit on his yard? But I told him, I said, hey, man, calm down, man. The kid, you see me picking up, he used rude speech, so it came right back at him. I said, man, can't you see that I picked up the fucking dog shit? There's no more shit on your lawn. It's inside the plastic bag. I said, you are acting as if I threw it on your front porch. And then he said, well, if you had done that, I would have put one in your head. And and I was, it just kind of caught me off guard. So I told him, I said, well, I got mine on me right now, And I told him, and I'm willing to bet I'm a better shot than you. I probably shouldn't have said that, but he got quiet, and I just, and then I just walked away with my dogs, because he pissed me off, And then, and I thought about it. Maybe I should go file a police report against this dude, because, it's like you gonna threaten my life over dog shit that I cleaned up, But it just goes to show you the love of many is waxing cold, man. Because if your dog is walking by and takes a dump in my yard, and I see you pick it up, I ain't got nothing to say. And I can see if I just walked, but it just goes to show you, man, the people are ready to snap. is you would threaten to shoot a man. And there were 2 other people out there. The dude next door was working on his porch, and then a couple dude down had a couple Israelites working in his yard. And they all witnessed this. Now if I really did take the dude out, it would have been clear something. You just threatened my life, man. But it just goes to show you that the littlest thing, the fire is already kindled, man. These people are upset, and they're angry, and they're frustrated, and they're ready. All right. So let's go to the next video. No, not you. You had your turn. This guy right here. And and this is one of them Jakes, and all these are TikTok videos, by the way.
I know that this is not the kind of news that anybody really wants to hear, but I never thought I would see this happen in America. Maybe it's time to get Biden out of office. I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump could save America at this point. But FBI Director Christopher Wray just revealed some very true.
Because they're saying all this stuff about how he's the first president that's a convicted felon. All right. And the crazy thing is that the man is more popular now than he ever was after becoming a felon. And if this election is allowed to go, the felon's actually going to win. That's really going to be a slap in the face to the powers that be and to this so-called democracy. It's going to really be a shameful slap in their face. It's kind of funny.
Information about President Joe Biden's so-called border invasion. Now, apparently, Christopher Wray is warning Congress that the Bureau is very concerned about a human trafficking smuggling network that ties to ISIS terrorists that utilizes the southern border to gain entry into the United States. Now, again, guys, illegal immigrants with ties to ISIS terrorist group and a human smuggling network are invading the U.S. through the southern border. We're talking Texas, we're talking Greg Abbott's territory. Christopher Wray, he confirmed that the potential threat is taking place during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, and he also said that the FBI, along with other federal authorities, have been actively investigating the human trafficking cell. And it gets worse. And like they've said in the post, Joe Biden's open border policies have literally created a terror threat, and the what-ifs are chilling, guys. Now, before we really get into this, all I ask is that you take a second, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you guys. I hope you guys and your families are safe and that you're doing well this Saturday evening. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for liking the videos. Thank you for sharing and subscribing to the channel. What's good? AZ Wolfman, Susie Pickett. We got Pamela Zornoza.
Well, I'm not going to listen to the rest of that, but you kind of get the gist of it, man. America is not safe, and it's America's peace and safety is compromised. All right, not to mention that the WHO is warning of the new diseases that's coming, and then whatever it is, they're ready for it. How you gonna be ready for something that hasn't even happened yet? It sounds a lot like predictive programming to me. That's what it sounds like. So let me grab Second Esdras, 15th chapter, starting at verse 14. And it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein," because you got a food crisis coming, you have a health crisis coming, you have a security crisis coming. Also, you're getting ready to have AI take away a lot of these administrative jobs and a lot of these programming jobs. So a lot of these people that sit up and come out here in the park and come to the bench and put their computer up and sip their latte and put in about 2 or 3 hours of work, in the park, in the Starbucks, and get paid 8 hours. Get paid for 8 hours of work, making 6 figures. That's all about to disappear. And most of those jobs, and most of those data entry, the majority of it is by women. So it's getting ready to be a whole lot of unemployed people. All right. So it's all being set up. The UBI, the health crisis, the food crisis, And then, of course, the safety issue. All right. So 2 Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. All right. Like that, you know, that old son of a bitch around the corner. All right. He gonna get a visitation from somebody on high when that time comes. All right. And 2 Ezra 15:16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, so they're going to ignore the authorities, man. As a matter of fact, they're going to declare the authorities and actually lawfully, you know, according to the law of the land, they can. When your government goes against and opposite of the Constitution, they had policies in place within the Constitution that allow the people to reset the government. That's actually lawful. But they want to say that anyone who thinks that way or speaks that way or acts on that is unlawful. So it's going to be a fight back and forth over who's right, and it's going to get violent, man. That's the reason why they made that movie Civil War. But it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And why is he not going to be able? Because of the curfews, because of martial law, and all that is close at hand. All right. And it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Men are going to be afraid. So how much more women? Right. When you wait till these lights go out, everybody's just coming into the park and sitting down and on dates. You know, got the alphabet community out here on dates. All that's gonna change, man. All right. And you know, and there's a homeless chick over there. She's gonna be better off than most of these people because she already has an idea on how to survive out here. You know, she lived through these cold winters in Chicago. The rest of these people, they ain't gonna have no clue, man. All right. But it says, and a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation. So because of the lack of food, the lack of water, and the lack of resources, people are going to start targeting and killing each other, and that is a time that is dangerously close at hand. All right, so you can take heed to this message, you know, or you could ignore it. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Rakaha, Kodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.